Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this lunchtime session. Have you thought about your transferable skills with Creative Change Jade Gordon? I'm Jamie O'Neill from the RTS, who's putting on today's fair. Before I introduce Jade to kick off, just to let you know that Jade will be inviting you to submit answers in the chat function during this session. And then if there are any questions you have, feel free to put them in the Q&A box and we'll get to them at the end. So now it's my pleasure to hand over to you, Jade. Hello.
Hi everybody, I'm Jade Gordon and I'm a trainer and founder of Creative Train. I've worked in the industry both in editorial and talent management for over 10 years and I'm working with new entrants to get you work ready for a career in TV. So thanks for joining our taster workshop today on transferable skills. Have you thought about your transferable skills? So I hope you're enjoying the careers fair so far and Creative Train are really happy to be a part of it. I launched Creative Train to mentor talented individuals, stimulating personal growth and progression. So we will have a little chat about what we're going to get up to today. So Jamie's going to share our slideshow. So Jamie, if you could share slide 1, please. Perfect. And move on to slide 2. So Creative Train offer workshops, one-to-one CV writing and industry guidance. And before we get on to transferable skills, I'm just going to tell you about our next workshop, which is an introduction to TV on Tuesday, the 15th of Feb online, 10:30 till 1. So do check out our booth today if you fancy booking. We instill belief in you guys and confidence to make sure talented individuals like you can maintain a successful career in television, which is why we're here this week. We connect diverse talent to like-minded production companies. And we're now working with production companies to launch entry-level training schemes to get you guys some work experience in the industry, because obviously we know how hard it is to get into television. So feel free to check out our booth after, and you can find us on social media at Creative Train TV, and you can drop us an email as well to inquiries@creativetrain.co.uk. And this is the link to book as well, which I'll share with you again later to book any of our services. So slide 3, please, Jamie. So what is a transferable skill? Transferable skills are skills that you can use in future jobs. They are developed in all areas of your life, including previous jobs, your education, and your personal life. Transferable skills can make you really stand out to an employer, even if you don't have specific experience in the screen industries yet. Transferable skills should be highlighted on your CV, so employers can assess where your strengths lie and consider your suitability for entry-level roles. They'll be looking for any experience that's given you relevant skills to be a good asset in telly. So that could be previous job roles and also just any life experiences that you guys have. Slide 4, Jamie. So if you've worked in a clothes shop or as an admin assistant or at a nursery, for example, you'll know how to prioritize tasks, problem solve, and work in a team. So the important thing is to figure out now, what do you do with your transferable skills? Because you're likely to have a range of valuable skills that will be well received in television. And this goes for film as well, of course. And you should use keywords in your CV, such as reliable and trustworthy, and loads of other words to illustrate this. So you can see on the slide here some other ideas. But if you highlight your transferable skills on your CV, this will give you a good chance of being considered because the employer can already see that those skills are transferable into the industry. So let's hear from you guys. Please pop some comments in the chat for me. I'd love to know what kind of jobs and experiences you've all had over the last few years, so we can see if they'll be relevant in helping you land work in TV. So although you might think, and loads of people think this, what they've done so far has nothing to do with TV, so it won't be relevant, usually you've gained some great skills from these experiences, which would make you an asset in TV. So let's have a little read. Okay, I think we're going to get a lot of answers, aren't we? Which is fantastic. So I'll just read out some of them. So we've got a chef, brilliant. So when I think of chef, I think of people that can think on their feet, that can be calm in high-pressured environments, great transferable skills for telly. We've got childcare, people working in childcare and as teachers, which is brilliant. You know how to work with different ages of people, different types of people. You know how to be responsible for others. You know how to be creative to entertain them and teach them and educate them. Obviously, if you've got a degree in film production, which I can see here, that's great because you've already got lots of transferable knowledge for the industry, such as possibly some technical skills. Waitressing, once again, you may have great time management skills and can think on your feet. You're dealing with customer issues, so that may include problem solving. You may be handling money. So that's just a few other ideas. I can see someone who I think I spoke to earlier, NHS and police. So if you've worked in a tricky situation, like within a hospital setting or within a police environment dealing with crimes, obviously you've got to have a calm head on your shoulders. You may have worked if you've worked on security, for example, you may have worked outside in cold conditions. This is cool. Rory, setting up giant Lego models. That's cool, Rory. That will come in handy somewhere. Maybe you can work on a games team in television and come up with great games ideas. Working as a supporting artist, so as an extra, that's really good as well. If you've kind of been on film sets before and just know what they're about. Receptionist, will have great people skills, will be friendly, will be presentable. So you get the idea. I hope some of those skills sound relevant for you. I just want to have a look and see if there's anything really bizarre. Anyone got anything bizarre? Solicitor, great. So people that have got like a law background and understand law, if you work in telly, you will have you'll be like a really great asset if they do programs with a legal angle, because sometimes we have to obviously get professional opinions from other industries like law. So similarly, if you've worked abroad, you may be comfortable in different types of environments with different communities, and comfortable traveling and working abroad. Graphic designer, someone that's got lots of ideas, someone that's quite technical and artistic. Pharmacist, you could be an asset to a production that's a blue light production, that may be a show focused around a hospital, or 24 hours in A&E, or One Born Every Minute, things involving, I know it's general, but a hospital setting where they might need advice on, or a science show where they need advice on drugs, that kind of thing. A tour guide. A tour guide's a great job because you're used to traveling to different places and different areas in different kind of weather conditions, possibly. You're good with talking to people. Maybe they're people from different countries, speak other languages. Maybe you're that friendly face, once again, presentable. Working in bars. So you get the idea. And I'll flick through them again later. Caring for people with mental health is great because we're focusing a lot more programs now on people's well-being. So if you've got a specialist interest or a specialist experience, you can actually target those specific programs, and you can say, I'm passionate about letting people know about positive well-being. I understand you made a program based around this last year, and you can target the types of programs you think you'd be good on. Yes, John, I know John's a death investigator. What else have we got? Special needs. I think all of that, just lots of things with dealing with people and knowing how to handle and manage people would be really good. Luke was asked to be a serial killer for a documentary. That's very interesting. I will let you know that they don't really want to see on your CV that you're a wannabe actress or presenter. If you do, brilliant, and I don't see why you can't do both. But just note that people in TV will think a certain way, and they may think that you're in that, you want to get into that industry because you want to be a performer. So just be aware of that. Writing for University Magazine is fantastic because it shows that you're creative and you can write. So yeah, you get the idea, guys. So I hope that that's helped you figure out some of your transferable skills so far. And next slide, please. Okay, so what could you be good at? If you've previously studied an industry-focused subject, you may already have technical skills such as experience operating a camera, sound recording, or making games, or knowledge of specialist equipment and software. So this could make you a great fit for a technical role. If you're great with people, you may wish to consider a career in casting. That was my background. I was a casting assistant producer before moving over to a talent manager role where I then recruited for the industry. If you're good with logistics and organising projects or people, you may want to consider a career in production management. And there are some other ideas here on the slide. Please don't worry if you haven't studied film or TV before. You can get into the industry with a film and TV background or without one. So please don't let that put you off. And the same goes if you're a driver or if you're not a driver. Many people obviously think they may not get an opportunity because they can't drive, and you still can. So once again, don't let that put you off. So what's everyone studied at college or university? I just love to see what some of you have studied over the last few years, if you've done degrees or whether you're fresh out of college. I just want to highlight here again that if you've done history, for example, as some of you said you have, you could approach production companies making history documentaries. I want you to think about the skills you have being your asset, being what makes you unique, diverse, and different. So there are shows about obviously different periods within history. A program I really enjoy is called Who Do You Think You Are?, where they look back at someone's kind of family line. So if you've done history, that would obviously you can aim to approach production companies who make those types of shows. Film studies, let's see if someone's done different things. It's brilliant that so many of you have studied media. Lots of people in telly have studied media production, and also I studied drama myself. So, we're all obviously studying those things because we're passionate about the industry. Somebody studied philosophy. I want you to think about your profiles in your CV, guys, and think about how you can tie in everything we've spoken about so far to make your profile really stand out, make you stand out as a person. So firstly, in your profile, you can incorporate your passions for TV or film and why you want to work in it, what you're interested in doing. So for example, you're passionate about storytelling, and with your studying of humans, you're interested in sharing stories from diverse backgrounds, things like that. So tie in why you want to work in telly with anything you've studied that, whether you think it's relevant or not, makes it really unique. So for example, someone studying, let's have a look. Right, someone has studied children's care learning and development and child psychology. So you can say, with my passion for television and my love of psychology means that I'm keen to work on programs that educate viewers and make them see things from different perspectives. So it's about combining those interests with your interest for the industry. Somebody else has done philosophy. Oh, thanks, Colin. What else have we got? Another psychology. Has anyone got something really random, really different? I spoke to someone yesterday who's doing anthropology. So yeah, I'll just say, oh, this is cool. English and medieval studies. So, with my passion of medieval studies, I'd love to work on history programs where we can see how different communities have adapted through the ages. It's just about making yourself sound really interesting, basically. Law and creative writing, tie it in. With law, you might say, I really want to share the stories that are never told on television. People living in really difficult family circumstances and looking at abuse, and whatever's your interest, just tie it all in. Let's have another little look. Oh, here's another anthropology, maths, Japanese, management. Right, maths is good. Maths is good. Yeah, I'm not sure how you're going to say with your passion of maths. You could get a job on Countdown, couldn't you? But of course, you don't necessarily want to work on programs around these other interests. You might want to work on programs completely different, and that's fine too. I also encourage you in your profiles, if you're diverse in any way, shape or form, whether that's your ethnicity or you're dyslexic or you have a physical health condition, as you all know, the production companies are screaming out to have access now to diverse voices that the industry is lacking, which is the main reason I launched Creative Train. So do tie that stuff into your profile. If it boils down to them wanting to give the opportunities to diverse talent for that particular role, show them you are that diverse talent, like I said, in all its forms. So, for example, if you've been brought up as Sikh, you can say, being from a Sikh family, I'm really passionate about showcasing different underrepresented groups on the television, and whatever, just link anything you can into your profile to make you sound interesting and unique. Right, I'm going to talk about languages as well. Languages are really useful. If you speak a language, make sure it's in the skills section on your CV. You can get a job in the industry as a translator or a transcriber. There is a Facebook group for this, if someone's happy to share it in the chat for me. It's your way into the industry. You speak a language, you might speak Russian, brilliant. What production companies make programs looking at Russian culture and the Russian way of life? Who's doing this stuff? If you speak Spanish, there's loads of programs where they're following people holidaying in Spain. So, contact these production companies, tell them you're a Spanish speaker or whatever language you speak, and say you'd love to be considered for their productions when they need the skill of your language. A translator or transcriber, for those who don't know, would be watching footage or reading text and translating it to English, for example, or to the language that you speak. I'm just going to give you the translator transcriber group. Here it is. Oh, here it is. Great. So if you've got languages, please use this Facebook group to find some suitable translating and transcribing opportunities. I really would use languages to find your in into telly, guys, if you've got them. I think it's a really great extra that most of us don't have. I wouldn't be clever enough to learn another language. Great. So now we've discussed so much about transferable skills already. I would love to know, can you all write in the chat now one thing you think you'd be good at when working in the TV industry, and tell me why? So obviously look at the slide that's currently up, have a think, and feel free to write in the chat now what you think you'd be good at in telly and why. What skills from other experiences would suggest that. Tasha's asked, if you have learning difficulties and you're half deaf, would that matter? It shouldn't matter, Tasha. There's lots of opportunities, and as long as it won't affect you doing your job, then I think that's just an honest conversation with whoever you're meeting to discuss work. I think people need to become more open to discussing disability or extra challenges, learning difficulties and things like that. You have to tell them, this applies to any of you, you have to tell them what you need and what would make your day easier, for example, and just having an open and honest conversation. The more we can talk about stuff like that, the more the industry will become a more accepting place. But yeah, it shouldn't stop you from working. Brilliant. So someone said passionate about equipment. I'd love to know if you have experience, Theodora, using that equipment already. William thinks he'd be good at production management or casting. Brilliant. That's brilliant, JL. I think I'll be good at connecting with people as I'm a good listener. Brilliant. Oh, sorry, I don't know if that name's male or female, but they've expressed that they're a good listener, which is why they think they'd be good connecting with people in the industry. Do you see what they've done there? They've pieced the two bits of information together. Mohammed thinks with his creative writing knowledge, he'd be good at script writing and possibly wants to look at editing. Perfect. Hania has said, I'm an interviewer, so have good interpersonal skills with people from different walks of life. Fantastic. I'd really push if you were interested in working, if you've got experience working with different groups and, you know, people from different kind of sectors of society, and you're interested in diverse storytelling, get that across as a skill and in your profile section on your CV. Perfect. Marta had a translator job at university and was able to meet tight deadlines, so she thinks she'd be good at doing that in television. Emily's a visual person from her work in videography. I'm going to skip down a bit. Brilliant. Manuel's worked as a photographer, so they know how to tell a story by framing an image and operating cameras. Ben's done loads of editing at uni and in his spare time, and I'm going to come to passion projects and extra kind of curricular things in a moment. Making solo short films in my spare time. Amber has problem solved. Fantastic. What else we got? Script consultant experience and bringing ideas to life. Background in art and design. A good eye for colour and composition. Brilliant. So you're marrying your previous experience with what you can bring to the industry, which is exactly what I want you to get from this session. Someone's already gained experience as a production assistant, so they've learned skills in working under pressure, managing different tasks. Somebody's doing journalism, so they're good at interviewing people and they're a people person and very social. Edward thinks he'd be good at development because he's from an arts background and practice it in his free time. So he can plan a project in most stages of conceiving an idea. The art department to explore different creative avenues. Oh, Barry. I spoke to Barry earlier. He's been in the military. So he's learnt teamwork and time management from the military, and I'm sure lots of other cool skills. Don't sell yourself short, Barry. Kaya was a researcher. Thinks she'd be a good researcher because at university she learnt lots of research skills and interviewed people for her dissertation and fact-checked. So that is all brilliant. I hope you found, having a little think and a type helpful for you guys to figure out, these are things you can say in an interview. I think I'd be good at that because of my experience doing this. Slide 6, please. So employers will also want to know that you are passionate. You can demonstrate this in your CV by including your work experience and personal projects, as well as referencing your reasons for wanting to work in the industry and the type of content that you enjoy. So remember, working in the screen industries is really tough. And I want you to use this 2 days, yesterday and today, to really ask people the nitty-gritty questions, because it will be great for you to come into the industry with your eyes wide open. As well as conveying your passion in your CV, you'll also need to prove your worth in cover notes, applications, and interviews. So these are a few ways that you can obviously impress employers. At the early stage of your career, it's important to keep referring back to transferable skills at all stages of recruitment. So that's when you're sending a CV, when you're highlighting these skills. And as I say, you can highlight them in a skills section and include some of this stuff in your profile. You can mention 1 or 2 key skills in your cover note as well. So in television, usually you'll be sending a cover note in the body of an email with a CV attached. That cover note just needs to be a handful of lines. But in that cover note, you can say, my strengths are my great organization skills and strong communication skills, and I'm looking for a production secretary role, for example. What's really important is you need to sell yourself during an interview. So if you can say any of the things that you've written in the chat of, I think I'm looking to become a researcher after I've worked as a runner, and I think I'd be really good at that because at university I did a lot of fact checking and I interviewed people, so I might like to try casting too. You're linking your experience and your transferable skills to the industry. The key is to focus on what you can bring to the table and focus on what you can do really well. Don't focus on what you don't know how to do yet, because you'll talk yourself out of the job. Next slide, please. Right, let's explore some transferable skills in different job roles now. It's just to hammer home. I think you've all got the idea, but it's just to hammer home now what different jobs bring to the TV industry if you have a change of career, for example. So over to you guys. What do you think the transferable skills are for the jobs that I'm about to call out? So have a think also about whether these skills apply to you. Please write in the chat. So retail, someone that works in a shop, someone that works in Marks and Spencer's, for example, what do you think their transferable skills are? Fantastic. We've got trustworthy, good with people. So that's customer service. They've problem solved. They've handled money, which is a great skill to have at entry level because you may be responsible for looking after float for a production, as someone's written. They're presentable. They're dealing with the public, dealing with problems under pressure. I mean, that's something you're going to face in telly all the time. So if you can juggle loads of tasks at once, if you're good under pressure and can keep a cool head, if you've got good time management skills. They've also been long on their feet at Marks and Spencer's. Maybe they're on the tills. Maybe they're stocking the underwear shelves. Good communication skills, I think, is key for any job as well. So working in a team, long hours, dealing with the public, used to standing on their feet, and cash handling as some of the ones that I've got, as well as what you've just brilliantly written down in the chat. Next job, guys, reception work. What do you think if you're manning reception in an office or at a beauty salon, for example? What do you think some transferable skills are? So receptionists need to be organised. They may be doing some PA work and managing diaries. They'll need to have good people skills and be friendly. They will need to be able to pick up the phone. They may be personable and like friendly and jolly, flexible. That's fantastic. So some of the skills I've got, sometimes if you're a receptionist, you might be doing hospitality roles such as making drinks and offering biscuits and things like that. So you have a good telephone manner, you'll be welcoming, you'll be professional, you'll be presentable, good communication skills, again, polite, dealing with complaints. Fantastic, guys. You're all over this transferable skills. How about driving work? If you're a driver for your job or you're delivering parcels, for example, or you're just driving long distances, what do you think are some skills you've got driving on your own in a van, for example? I think it would be difficult to work completely on your own, wouldn't it? Time management, yes. A confident driver, focusing for long periods of time. They may be driving through the night. Good navigation skills and attention to details. They're independent. They can work under their own initiative. Fabulous. I've got reliable. Yeah, I love that. Self-motivated. They've got a driving license. What a bonus. They've got good navigational skills. They're responsible. And also, we've said time management. What about admin and office work? So if you're an administrator for a business, and you may have all done this before and been quite bored in the end because you want to work in an exciting sector of film and TV. But what do you think for admin and office work? Good communication skills, good on the computer, yep. With Outlook, Office, any other programs. Maybe they have to manage databases. Maybe they have to like document things, paperwork. They're organised. They may have to delegate or take instruction. They would have to be aware of GDPR, good one, and understand compliance. These are the boring bits, aren't they? Yeah, comfortable picking up the phone, answering the phone. God, how many people have done admin jobs and been like, I don't feel comfortable answering the phone. Trustworthy. So I've got used to demonstrating a professional workplace manner, good administrative skills, and well organised. So those kind of administrative skills, if any of you are career changers, would be really well received in the production management route of television. Touch typing, that's a good one. Okay, how about bar and restaurant work? I'm sure loads of you have done bar and restaurant work. I've never, ever. I used to waitress, but I never, ever pulled a pint. I never worked behind a bar. I wouldn't have a clue. If you work in a bar and restaurant, you're quick on your feet. You're dealing with a rowdy crowd. You're having to thrive in a busy environment. You're working long hours. You're resilient. You might be walking home at 3 a.m. You're handling money. All great transferable skills for television. I've got cash handling, antisocial hours, managing difficult people, and dealing with busy venues. There we go. Adapting to people's needs, good customer service, health and safety. Great. How about security work? Any security guards here? Anyone? A security guard at M&S. Let's go back to M&S. And also like a security guard at a club, for example. What skills would security guards have at shopping centres and things like that? Yep, knowing how to calm down situations. Perfect. Patience, reliable, checking compliance, being responsible, making sure people feel safe, being organised and efficient, working under pressure. They're observing what's going on around them. They're looking for issues. They're looking for things. They're looking to be one step ahead. Dealing with queues, dealing with queries, calm in stressful environments. So I've got antisocial hours, comfortable outside, because obviously in film and telly you could be working outside in freezing cold conditions too. Calm, can handle confrontation, and good with difficult people. Right, I've got 2 more, guys. I hope you're still with me here and you haven't fallen asleep. Warehouse work. If you work in a warehouse, so you might be on your feet all day and like unpacking boxes or packing boxes, things like that. So any ideas for skills you would gain from working in a warehouse? Long hours, good at following instructions, you're organised, you're systematic and logical, you know where things are. Fantastic. So you may be trained in very heavy lifting and manual labour. You're good at working in a team. You're also using your own initiative. You're health and safety conscious. You're used to challenging environments. As a runner, for example, you may be setting up cameras and things like that and moving heavy. I used to schlep heavy things from A to B and walk around London holding 3 tripods. So it's good if they can pick things up, and it's good if you've got experience, like doing some hard graft, basically. And last but not least, cleaning work. If any of you have worked as a cleaner for some extra cash, what do you think your skills would be from working as a cleaner? That's right. You're aware of hygiene, very handy now with silly COVID. Attention to detail. You're organised. You're disciplined. You might be managing your own time. You're working under pressure. So yeah, that's fantastic. You're aware of, your environment. You're keeping things tidy. How many people have a very messy desk space at work? Tidy office, a tidy office, or a tidy home is a tidy mind. Yeah, if they enjoy cleaning, then they'll do really well in television because they've got a can-do attitude to less glamorous tasks. You're willing to get your hands dirty, you're detail-oriented, you're able to tidy up and clean up mess, which when you start in the industry, that may be one of your glamorous jobs. So I hope you can see from this activity, and thank you very much for your contributions all the way through this session today, that all of these transferable skills link to television. And I hope we've covered loads of different skills that many of you guys already have. Next slide, please. I'm now going to share in the chat box a link for you to book onto our next workshop and see our services. If you've enjoyed working with me today and you want to know more, you can see on the side here a little bit more about our next workshop. Hang on, I'm now sharing the wrong thing. And I'll now take some questions and answers, but move over to the question and answer box for me. So once again, our next workshop, if you've enjoyed today, is a focus on unscripted TV. It's Tuesday the 15th of Feb, 10:30 till 1 online. Those are some of the things in that slide that we'll be covering. Please follow us on social media. It's Creative Train's first birthday today. So we launched at the RTS event last year. So it's a pleasure to see you all today and be given this platform. On social media, we're at Creative Train TV, and you can also email me at inquiries@creativetrain.co.uk. And once again, my name's Jade Gordon, and let's have a look at the questions and answers. Yeah, possibility for Italian speakers. Someone's asked, what about possibilities for Italian speakers? So if you speak any language, this is a skill that you can pop on your CV, and you will be able to hopefully contact production companies, tell them about your language skills, and ask them if they've got any opportunities for Italian speakers. It's another way into the industry. Right, Chloe has asked, do you guys do workshops, courses, webinars outside of working hours for people full-time employed, such as in the evenings or weekends? Find it difficult to attend during the day when online? Well, Chloe, that's certainly a possibility. One thing that I can do around your work commitments is I offer one-to-one CV writing and one-to-one career guidance sessions with the staff at Creative Train. So there's lots of things we can do around your schedule. And, if there's a specific topic you want to explore that we've delivered a workshop on, we can always deliver that with you one-on-one. Okay, Adam has said, do you know places I can look for casting assistant and entry-level roles, please? So it depends what kind of casting role you're looking for, Adam. If you're looking for a casting assistant role for film and TV, I do know a good website, which is called the CD. Let me just pull it up to check. Hang on. It's called CDG, Casting Directors Guild. It's called thecdg.co.uk. If you can write that down, thecdg.co.uk. And if you click on vacancies, they may have some junior roles crop up there for casting assistants and junior associates for film TV projects. If you want to work as a casting researcher in television, so across kind of quiz shows or factual entertainment or entertainment, Saturday night shows, documentaries, the best way to get into that is start working as a runner, and then you can start applying for casting researcher roles. So whilst you're a runner, try and get involved with the casting teams at that production company and see how you can help, so you can start to build up that experience. I hope that's answered your question. Alice, how should you present these skills in your CV? Should we be listing them in our previous work experience? Under your profile section on your CV, which is your About You section, you should have a skills section. You can call it skills, you can call it key skills, and you can be bullet pointing. So your key skills, for example, are problem solving, great time management skills, strong communication skills, ability to work independently and as part of a team, great social media skills. Then when you go on to your experience, your work experience, when you talk about your waitressing skills, you can say, responsible for taking food orders and delivering food, looking after customers, making sure they were happy, and you're demonstrating your skills above, managing any problems, looking after money, that kind of thing. It's always great to think about not just what you've done in a job role, but what you've done very well. So in your skills, you might have able to work to tight deadlines. So then in your job, when you're listing your responsibilities, you may not need to say that again, but you can maybe say it a different way, acted calm and friendly when handling customer inquiries, that kind of thing. So it's just like linking it into your actual responsibilities. Daniel says, how should we list jobs that repeat on our CVs, like if we've worked in multiple different cafes or retail, etc.? You might want, should we label the type of work and our years in it and briefly list the names underneath? Yes, you can. It depends how long your CV is. For example, a CV that I looked at earlier said someone worked in as a paramedic in an ambulance, for example, and they did that for 1 year and they did it for another ambulance for another year, but the job description, their responsibilities were exactly the same. So I got him to put them together and just list the different cafes. Or not cafes, I'm talking about if you work in a cafe, list the different NHS trusts. So if you've worked in 4 cafes over the last 2 years, you could say, waiter, various cafes, 2019 to 2022, for example. And then in the bullet points, you could say, delivered food at the following cafes. But yes, once you've worked in the industry for a few years, you're going to take all of that experience off your CV anyway, because your CV is going to be full of film and TV jobs. So that section's like, it's a just for now section. I don't mind if your CV goes onto a second page as long as it's all relevant, but I also don't think you need to list 8 retail jobs on your CV. 1 or 2 is fine for now. How should we list jobs that we will? Okay, we've covered that one. Daniel's question. So I'm on to Chloe's question. Okay, Chloe's been told she's best suited to casting because of working in sales, but believe my main interest is working behind the scenes in production. Do you think casting would be better starting point for me? Open-minded. So obviously they think you're good at persuading, Chloe, and dealing with people. By production, I wonder if you mean the production management route, which is a very logistical, administrative and organised role, as well as being creative, because it still is. But a casting team would be office-based as well. They would be finding great contributors for a quiz show, for example, which would be you being on the phones with people, telling them about the show, finding out if you think they'd be a good person to be on the show, and then possibly going out to meet them in person. So there's lots of different avenues to explore. So I advise you all, if you want to be in kind of an office role that then goes out on shoots as well, to look at the editorial side and the production side. That's looking at unscripted television, which is my background. Obviously, scripted television provides many more options, but scripted and unscripted are very different avenues. And if you've already seen me at my booth, then I would have told you that. So don't expect to work across both. It's quite unusual. Right, if the session is finished now, so if anyone wants to leave, feel free, but I'm happy to continue answering these questions if you want to stay, or at least a few more. So Afonso says, I've got a programming diploma from high school, but now I'm on my final year of media production. What transferable skills would I have from programming to media? I'm not sure what type of programming you mean. Is that computer? Write me another question, Alfonso. Is that computer programming? I might have to come back to that question because I'm not sure what type of programming that you're talking about, but I'm assuming it would mean that you've got a kind of logical, mathematical way of thinking, and your skills are quite analytical, and you may be good at researching various topics and looking in depth at things. Miles says, you were talking about languages. Would knowing Makaton be a visible way of getting into the industry? Definitely make that a key skill. Talk about it in your profile. Obviously, that needs to become a more of an interest across the industry to make sure that, I mean, you could end up signing on a program. So yeah, definitely, that would be fantastic. That's a brilliant skill. And on your CV, guys, when you're listing your skills, you can just list them as bullet points, like a few words or phrases. You don't need to go into this massive depth of, they just want to see really quickly, what are their skills? Boom. How would you get into casting, William? I think we've pretty much covered that one. Let me know if you've got any more specific questions. Why is it a bad thing to say you want to be a presenter in unscripted? What should I say instead? Well, if you're working unscripted in an office, that's not going to give you a platform to be a presenter. Well, I mean, rarely. If you're working at, I saw today that people that were trainees at BBC Three, now BBC Three is going back on the telly. They've been given a front of camera role as journalists and presenters. So that's amazing. But from my experience, it's really easy for the talent team and the people interviewing you to think, oh, this girl just wants to be a presenter. She's not going to last 5 minutes here, because she'll be here, but she'll be trying to talk to people about, oh, how can I be a presenter? So I think it's something you need to keep separate. If you want a presenting agent and have a presenting show role, keep that separately. I think you can say, like, in a hobbies and in an interests and achievements section on your CV, I enjoy presenting, and this has helped me to, this is something I've done when I've gone traveling, or, looked into different topics. You can speak about it as a hobby and an interest. And that's my opinion. If you want to ask me any more on that, then feel free. But that is my perspective. They really don't want to know that you're looking for an acting agent along the side. And if you get that audition, you're going to have to run out the door. So that's why. Oh my goodness, who is this? Abina. Abina's written lots of things. I'm not sure if you're telling me that's what you've done so far. I think it is. Abina's been a diplomatic service in Germany and Belgium, a language teacher, BA drama. She's done BA drama and performance, waitress, legal secretary, police recruit assessor, SA. I don't know if that's sporting artist. Okay, you've done a lot of stuff. You're going to have a lot of transferable skills, Abina. So let's make sure you're not giving them too much information. Manuel, I've been working as a head barista for 5 years and a photographer for 8. Any tips on to highlight the skills without looking boring or pretentious? Just be honest. Just be yourselves in interviews. You can say, I loved working. I love photography, which is why I've been working as a photographer. I've been a head barista, so that's given me I've loved working as part of a team and all learning from each other. And also I know how to delegate tasks. So, just sell yourself. But yeah, you don't want to look cocky. No one wants to look cocky. Right, I'm going to do the last question now, and any other questions, I will respond to people via chat individually once you've left the session. Chris, are there any training courses tailored for people changing career to work in TV? Yes, if you're interested in unscripted, Chris, do look at our workshop. There's lots of training on screen skills, the website Screen Skills. And there's also specific training if you're interested in production management. There's a website called the PMA, Production Management. Let me just check the website for you. Yeah, it's the PMA, so pma.org.uk. Screen Skills. If you're a member of BEC2, they offer courses as well. I personally work with career changers to find out, what role you should start at in the industry. So I hope you've enjoyed today's session, everyone.